right
Go
now.
live.
See,
Live, yes.
we were not live.
We were not live. What a pity.
We are too
Well,
excited.
we are live now, Mr.
We are live
We're
now.
live now.
Live and alive.
Live and alive.
So, I am back. We've been experiencing some technical difficulties. Please bear with us. But we are back. My cheerleader.
Yes. Good night, good night, good night. Let us start again and say good night to all our listening viewers. Thanks very much for joining us. A little late because of our technical difficulties, but better late than never.
Muy buenas noches a todos. Pedimos disculpas porque no pudimos comenzar tiempo, pero ya estamos en línea. El ayuntamiento con el señor Arturo Saldívar. Buenas noches a todos.
Buenas
Señor.
noches a todos. Gracias por venir. Y gracias por permitirme adentro a su casa. Good night to all. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for having me in your homes. I look forward to having our conversation continue. A great conversation about the development of our constituency and the development of our country.
All right. Miss Ione Ordonez sends her good night, and Miss Alvarine Burgess saying, "You're doing a nice job."
Thank you very much. And good night, Miss Ione. Good night, Alvarine. Alvarine is one of the persons who have been very instrumental in bringing forward the corrupt practices of this government. And for the most part, her heroism has not been appreciated the way it should be by those who have benefited from her work and her contribution. So here's hoping that Ms. Alvarine is having a good night, and here's hoping as well that you appreciate that I will never forget your contribution to our development, especially as it relates to us clamping down on corruption in immigration. Without you, we wouldn't have had the benefit of knowing how ingrained and entrenched those practices were in this particular UDP administration. So thank you as well, and thank you for tuning in.
All right. One of the things we want to look at tonight, Arthur, as we started, was that of our economic independence. Belmopan, we wanted to look at how to get Belmopan economically independent. All right. But before we get into that, there are a few people who are watching, and we want to say, give them their views because they're with us all the time. Shanzar Z saying good night. Good night to Males.
Good night, good night.
Marissa and Michael Usher. Shanzar Z says, hi Otta, all the way from New York. This is Charette. All right.
Charette, my sister, good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes. And we want to remind our online audience that they are free to ask their questions, and we are not shunning ourselves from any questions. We will make sure those questions are in. If you think that it is something we need to address, but tonight our main focus will look at the economic independence of Belmopan.
I just wanted to tell Charette one thing. Just now I was coming down Garza Avenue and I saw Mommy and Papi coming up Garza Avenue a little while ago. That's between me and Charette. Charette knows Mommy and Papi well.
Alright. Jason Gill Harry and Arthur all the way, good night.
Good night.
And all the way from Chicago, Val Brax.
Valdrax.
Val Drax. Good night, Val.
Alright, so we're not only having our audience at home, but we're having them, our Belizean populace abroad, tuning in. And thank you very much for your interest.
The diaspora is important. The diaspora is as Belizean as any one of us. Without the diaspora, many in Belize couldn't survive. In fact, we know that in particular places, Belize City, Dangriga, to just name a few, you have residents that depend almost entirely on remittances coming from Belizeans abroad. So it is, I believe, a great disservice to ourselves to continue to turn a blind eye to the plight of our Belizeans in the diaspora who are seeking to have the same franchise that we enjoy to vote and participate in our elections, especially when we have the disparity in relation to Guatemalans being allowed to register unconstitutionally, you see.
Right. Miss Ella Wait, good night. Ella
Good night.
goes way back.
Yes, my
And
sister.
she said, even if the court does not apply rules that you can run, I am proud you took a stand for what you believe in right. You believe in the right. Central Site, Belmopanese, wish you all the very best.
Garza Avenue.
Yes.
Ella, you know where this all started. You know, way back, from the time I was knee-high to a molehill, I used to be there, right down almost to the end of Garza Avenue, where Miss Myrna was sitting on the ideal maker, pumping out ideals, and I was there, listening to Don Sam, and all the other campaigners. I was a part of that unit from a child growing up. Started off at the age of 13, walking the constituency and going to places like San Antonio and all of the remote villages that were part of Cayo South at the time. So you know what we're made of and why we stand for what we stand for. Thank you for joining us.
Olive Hambleton says, stirring the ants' nest, politics dirty game. So you have to be careful when we get into politics, and we know that.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And Shanjar Z says, not only Garza but remember Kiskedi.
Can't forget mommy. You know that. You know that.
Yeah.
And Cass. Huh? These are the people that made Belmopan what it was and what it still is to a great extent. You know. We can talk about, you know, the people that we grew up with on Kiskidi Avenue, Miss Moz, who's no longer with us, Mr. Ambrose across the street from Miss Moz, you know, Miss Melba, who I affectionately call Mommy, who was like another mother to me. There was never a day I would pass by, if it was 12 or it was 3 after school, and if she's baking, I would know I would get something to eat right there. So, you know,
All right.
good times in Belmopan.
Valdex is asking tonight, however, at a shift from what we're doing, what is your take concerning the ICJ and why? Do you support it?
No, I don't support going to the ICJ, Vlad. I don't believe that we've exhausted all our options. But more importantly than that, apart from us not exploring all our options, we need to get our house in order. The Belizean house is in disarray. And what do I mean by that? We are, at this point, we are a failed state. We have no capacity to govern ourselves effectively. Every aspect of our social institutions are at its lowest at this time. Don't have anybody tell you about the cosmetic fixtures that are being put in place to have things appear as if it's okay, when in reality it's not. And I'll give you a few of the things that I'm talking about. In terms of the conviction rate, it's less than 3%. So it's already an indication that law and order is really and truly not being dispensed in an effective manner, because the government has no ability to solve crime with the police department and in tandem the DPP's office. So at the end of the day, when we have crime rampant, poverty at epidemic levels, cost of living so high, and all these various problems taking place, the productive sector failing, businesses closing down, we cannot go to the ICJ with that, because going to the ICJ, yes, there is a legal issue to be tried, but the ICJ will also look at other issues, because these are judges and they're human beings. And we must also bear in mind that there will not be a British judge, there will not be a Caribbean judge, or any judge from the Commonwealth, because Belize is a Commonwealth nation. So the judges will not have any affinity towards us. So if they're going to be applying themselves to an objective standard, they're going to look at effective occupation, effective governance. What is the prevailing problem in the region? And we know the prevailing problem in our region is drug trafficking, narco trafficking. Which one of the two countries, Guatemala or Belize, when you put them on the scale, balance, would be more effective in addressing what the problem that affects the region is concerned? So would Belize be more effective at dealing with transnational narco trafficking, or would Guatemala be? We have planes landing every other day under this present administration, under the leadership of John Saldiva in the Ministry of National Security. And nobody has been held responsible for these planes. No pilot has been detained. No cargo has been seized. All we know that every now and again a plane is either left intact or burnt. So when you go to the ICJ now, and remember the OAS is comprised of all the nations in this region, they will look at the records of all of Belize and Guatemala in relation to this issue. And what will they say? Man, well, Guatemala has an effective army. They can patrol and keep order from the northern tip, from the northern end to the southern tip of Guatemala, including taking over our Sarstone. So when you put it on the balance, it tips over to the Guatemalan side, because our house is not in order. But outside of that, let me bring this thing back a bit, because it is important to give a full perspective on this issue. In 1859, blood, there was no Panama Canal. The Guatemalan government at that time was seeking to do what any developing country that has coastlines and access to the sea would like to do and needs to do. In order for any country to properly develop economically, there are two things that must be accomplished: ease of access to raw material and ease of distribution to finished products. So what Guatemala wanted to do was to become an entrepot, a country that is set up as a logistics hub for the reception of goods and its distribution from one coast to the next coast, from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast. So the road from the Pacific to Guatemala City was already built. They needed the road from Guatemala City to the Atlantic coast, and that became Article 7 of the 1859 treaty. The British were supposed to build that road, and they did not. when they didn't build the road after the treaty was signed, they came back and said, well, it was only a goodwill clause. It was not a condition of the treaty. It's a mere term. So they were seeking to shirk their responsibility. And I understand this. Once that road was built, Guatemala would have been poised to become the most prosperous nation in Central America. Right? But Britain didn't want to have anything to do with that. So they denied Guatemala. And they turned their eyes southward to Nicaragua. Drafted a guy by the name of John Walker to invade Nicaragua with a view to establishing the canal from the Pacific coast of Nicaragua, where Managua is located, going across the mountains to its Atlantic coast. But the mountain range was prohibitive in its difficulty to cross, and that project was scuttled, was scrapped. So they went to Colombia. Right? It was the French who actually did, because the race was on to find a way to bring goods into the Pacific that would be shorter than having to go all the way down the southern tip of Argentina. Because before the canal was built, that was the way maritime commercial cargo had to be transported down the southern tip of Argentina and then coming around what they call the Cape of Capricorn. So when they went to Colombia, the French did, they started to make the passageway through the Isthmus of Panama. At that time, Panama was a part of Colombia. It was until somewhere around 1914 that the Marines invaded Colombia and seceded, caused the Panameños to secede from Colombia. So a new country was formed and America got a 99-year lease of the Panama Canal Zone. So this is just to tell you how important this 1859 treaty was to Guatemala and to Belize. But it's also to tell you that all is not lost. But we have some very lazy people in foreign affairs, and we have had such lazy people in foreign affairs since after independence. They are only concerned with living high off the hog at the expense of the Belizean people, going to lavish parties, rubbing shoulders with dignitaries in other countries, but doing very little to advance Belize's cause internationally. This is not what a foreign ministry is supposed to be. It's an embarrassment to call Alexis Rosado an ambassador, a diplomat, or any of these people. It's an embarrassment. Because at the end of the day, all they want to do is capitulate. All they want to do is to give up so that they can gain favor in foreign lands, while we in Belize would be made to suffer from their stupid decisions and their lackluster efforts. No, man, we can't have that. No to the ICJ. There is an economic solution that has never been tried, because the dry canal that Guatemala sought to build in 1859 was not only sound for then, it is sound now. But the only way it can be accomplished now is with Belizean cooperation and Belizean involvement. We have to be a part of that plan. And we can be a part of that without giving up any of our territory, while at the same time gaining access to the Pacific. But again, you will never get that from this corps of diplomats. And sad to say, many of those waiting in the wings, hoping to become diplomats again, are just about the same, looking for some means to getting a prize or recognition from the Nobel Association. It's not going to happen, said it. And all those others who are so quick to join Guatemala's unfounded claim against Belize. This was never our fight. This was the fight of the Anglo-Guatemalan dispute. And it should always be kept as the Anglo-Guatemalan dispute. When did we have to take ownership of this? It was not our mess. We didn't create it. But we can help solve it with Guatemala on two scores. We can either join Guatemala and take Britain to the ICJ to have them pay the monies that would have been paid if they had built the road, or we can come up with our own economic plan in Belize that incorporates what Guatemala wants to do in terms of connecting the Pacific with the Atlantic, and join in that mutual economic cooperation to have that be done. But we don't have to give up territory for that. We want a mutual prosperity clause, a mutual prosperity agreement. Let's do that. That's a solution. We can live in peace and prosperity with our neighbor. That is what we should aspire to. Not being subjugated in some dominant and subservient role region, because at the end of the day we can give Guatemala what it can never give itself: access to CARICOM and the Commonwealth. Or at least we should have been able to. Most of the Central American countries right now are circumventing us because we have been so stunted in our growth economically, and we have been so unimaginative and totally without creativity in relation to how we have charted our development trajectory over the past 25 years. Belize is being kept back deliberately by poor leadership. This country is an economic juggernaut waiting to be unleashed. It is the most strategically positioned country in Central America. Strategic in its geography and strategic in its international alliances. But we have some of the dumbest, myopic leaders that has ever been foisted upon a nation. And one of the most myopic ones is Dean Oliver Barrow.
Okay, Mr. Drake seems to like your answer and says, I'm there with you. No to ICJ. SETI and Rosado, along with the UDP government, are traitors to our country, Belize. You have a number of good nights, especially I have 3 coming from sending 3 times. Miss Christina Garcia saying, my family supports you until the end. Mr. Arta Saldiva, we will win. PUP all the way. There are 3 messages from Mr. Mike Usher saying good night and congratulations. Today was an historic event, and we need to let the drama in Belmopan stop. And he says, if we get an injunction, it would be a victory for PUP in Belmopan. There is this need to stop all this fussing, and we have to have unity. Mr. Jaime Rosado from Kikaka is sending his greetings.
Don Jaime, good evening.
And looking now at Belmopan, message to your Belmopanese.
Well, my people from Belmopan, this is what I want to tell you. You've known me almost all my life. You know what I'm about. You know where I come from. You know how I was raised. All I want is to be one of those persons to be considered in the convention. I'm not asking for any special favor.
Sorry.
Are we back?
Something is happening. How do you switch? Just switch it a little bit.
I think we're still on.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. There we go.
Technical difficulties.
Well, these things happen. We're good? We're good? We're good. I think we had a seismic activity just now. But yes. All right.
We're back.
We're good. Yes. So it's not about special favors. It's about giving democracy a chance. And I look forward to coming back to meeting you in your homes, discussing the ideas I have and listening to your concerns so that we can put these things together to form the best plan to bring forward meaningful solutions to the problems we have in Belmopan. So, thank you again for having confidence in me. I couldn't have done what I did today without you.
Señor Arturo, para nuestra gente que habla en español, ¿qué es su mensaje hoy, después de hoy? Habla directamente a ellos.
Sí, hoy estaba un día bien importante, un día de gran significancia, porque estaba la primera oportunidad que me tenía para poner mi caso en frente del juez en el Corte Suprema. Esta decisión hoy es para parar el convención y ponerlo a una fecha más tarde, ¿no? Una otra fecha en el futuro, porque el juez va a necesitar otra vez a tener la habilidad a chequear un caso propio para
We had a long day.
Y un día muy largo. Discúlpeme. I am human.
A lot of clarification needs to be made to Arthur, where we have been accused that we are taking the party to court. Please, could you make the clarification that it's not the party?
It's not the party.
Because
the people.
Please.
Our party is the People's United Party. The people is the main focus and driving force behind the party. So it's the people that make up the party, and it's the people that are the party. Now, under our constitution, there are officers of the party, and these officers are all elected to their position from the membership. So to become an officer of the party, you first have to be a member of the party. And you go through a convention, and in that convention, you are elected either as the party leader, you are elected as the chairperson of the party, you are elected as the treasurer. Whatever position is an elected position. I think the only position that's really not elected is the Secretary General. He's appointed. In any case, these elected officials of the party are trustees. They are not owners of the party. They are servants of the people, or should be servants of the people, not servants of themselves. So if they have a personal interest in something, they cannot impose it on the party. It has to come to the respective organ of the party for a decision to be made. So there's no dictating of positions. But in certain instances, and certainly in the case of the Belmopan Convention, there was, I believe, a more overbearing position taken by the trustees. And it is that question is being brought to the court, whether or not the trustees acted constitutionally or they went outside of their powers under the Constitution to do certain things. So this is not against the party. It's against those trustees and the decisions that they made.
Bueno, podemos decir eso en español, porque es importante.
Sí.
That piece is very important.
Sí,
Hay mucha gente que está diciendo que el señor Arturo está llevando al Partido Unido del Pueblo al corte. Puede
Sí.
decir a nuestra gente que no es el partido, sino son las personas que están encargadas del partido al momento.
El caso que hay y el caso que está enfrente del corte ahora no es un caso contra el partido. ¿Sí? El partido son la gente. La gente es el partido, no los directores o las personas que están en la posición para manejar el partido. Es el líder, el chairman y todos los oficiales del partido son solamente personas que están apoyando el trabajo del partido, porque no son dueños del partido. Y esa persona, cuando está haciendo cosas que está contra la constitución del partido, es importante para asegurar que hay la habilidad a correctar este conducto. Y eso es la situación que estoy haciendo ahorita. Estoy poniendo los directores del partido enfrente del corte para asegurar que el corte podría decidir si ellos estaban siguiendo la constitución o no. Si está siguiendo la constitución, no hay un problema, no puedo correr. Si no está siguiendo la constitución, yo puedo correr. Y yo pienso que ellos no están siguiendo la constitución, pero no es mi decisión, es la decisión del corte. Y estoy esperando este proceso.
Claramente se ve que no es el partido que está llevando al corte,
No.
sino la gente que está encargado
Sí.
al momento.
Y todos conocen que no es posible a llevar el partido al corte.
Sí,
Es un gran broma.
se puede ver.
And Chanzarzi agrees and says, that's right. And if we not get it right, get UPP Noah win the PAN, the PG, worst Kaya Benke, and the keys. Why? It's because the head of the party, they pick who they want to run and not allow the people to pick. So Felicity might come in along with Corozal and Orangewa. That's it.
And I want to say this. I don't use this forum, this town hall, to attack other members of the People's United Party. I don't use this forum for doing that at all. I heard representations on the media recently accusing me of doing that. And I want to make it clear that that is not what I do. You will hear me mention Jan Saldiva, ese vagabundo representante que hay en Belmopan. But you'll never hear me disparage members of the party on this forum. No, if I need to address by way of a question coming to me directly about actions of members, because at least this is one forum where I can do that. when I sought to do it in other forums, I was denied. But that is for next Friday. So we want to get into that now.
Yes. We
Bueno.
can.
Bueno, en español al momento podemos hablar acerca de la economía de la ciudad de Belmopan, que usted está tratando de ser candidato. ¿Qué son las cosas que va a poder, hablando económicamente, a nuestra gente votante de Belmopan?
Sí, la cosa que está muy importante para asegurar en Belmopan es para asegurar que nos podríamos a tener la habilidad a tratar más negocios en nuestra ciudad, en nuestra constituencia. Y parte de este trabajo es para asegurar que nos podríamos a tener un sector productivo, más fábricas, más negocios industriales, esas cosas, ¿no? Y por eso hay una legislación, hay una ley para un EPZ. Esa es una zona para el proceso para exportar. Ese EPZ es para asegurar que la gente que quiere poner fábricas podría poner su fábrica en Belmopan y puede conseguir las cosas que está usando para hacer los productos a un precio bajo, sin impuestos y esa cosa, para asegurar que podría convertir al producto final para mandar en otras partes del país, otras partes del mundo, ¿no? Y nosotros necesitamos desarrollar un área comercial para hacer más atractivo la ciudad para turistas. Pero necesitamos usar el ley de CFZ, zona libre, como está la frontera. La frontera no es el único lugar que puede poner una zona libre. ¿Sí? En Ciudad Guatemala.
En Panamá también.
En Panamá. En varias ciudades en el mundo hay zonas libres adentro del país. Y eso es la situación. Necesitamos poner una zona libre aquí en Belmopan. Cuando nosotros poníamos una zona libre en Belmopan, nos podíamos poner más oportunidades para trabajos para nuestra gente, más habilidad de nuestros negocios a ganar, porque necesitamos asegurar que que nosotros podríamos asegurar que hay más, ¿cómo se dice?
Comercio.
Más
Uh-huh.
comercios en nuestra ciudad. Eso es. We need to create wealth. Wealth creation is important.
Riqueza, trabajo y comercio.
Yes.
Wealth, riches and work.
Precisely. Precisamente.
Right. We also, I know, and for those watching, we had a very, very long day. We were up before 5 into Belize City, and we have to say a special thank you to the 2 busloads of our supporters that went out today.
There were only 30 people that went with us, right?
2 busloads of 30. Yeah, right. Yet we had to...
I heard somebody say we had 30 people out there.
Yes, right.
We had 110 of our supporters and we left many more behind. Let me put it to you this way. All right? In 3 months campaigning in Belmopan, we have over 1,900 pledged supporters. Okay? 1,900 pledged supporters. So I'm not fearful of going into a convention. None at all.
We just need to get the word out that he's...
But I want the convention to be fair. I want it to be fair. Why would I sign on to a convention this Sunday after being taken off the ballot? The other persons who are running have not gotten a chance to prepare for me. I want to be fair to them. I want to give them a chance to be able to prepare for me coming into the race. So I'm asking at least for a month to give them a chance to be able to say, well, we're going to address Mr. Saldiva now coming into this race, and we're going to up our game a little bit.
Because yes, you were told that yes, you could go on the ballot. Also, but to be fair to our supporters, because they saw a sample ballot with your name not on it.
Yes.
So we have to get the sufficient time to go out to tell them, to show what the real ballot would look like. Good night, Mr. Bradley. I'm glad Albert Bradley is watching. Thank you very much. Dr. Agar, hello, and good night.
Doc, still standing, Doc. Little sleepy, but still standing.
All right, we also want to and again, as I said, we have very dedicated people who have given a lot of their time and their support, and our campaigners out there who are relentless because they have never given up.
Right. Now, here's the thing, and I don't want this program to end without addressing what is most important here right now. On Sunday, the 2nd of July, the re-registration process starts. Monday.
It's a long day.
It's been a long day. Monday, the 2nd of July, the re-registration process starts. I know where I got that Sunday from because every commercial I've heard on TV says 1st of July, the re-registration starts. And that's Sunday. No, it starts the 2nd of July. I don't think election and boundaries are going to be open on Sunday. They're going to be open on Monday, the 2nd of July. So I am urging every voter in Belmopan, I'm urging you to come out, get yourself re-registered, because that is the only way you can participate in the democratic process. If you're not registered, you cannot vote. But we also want you to come out because we want you to be vigilant to ensure that only those people that really and truly live in Belmopan, only the real Belmopanese, actually register. We know what the practice of John Saldiva has been. The man is as unscrupulous as he is large. And we need to safeguard ourselves against his tactic of padding the voters list. So I am imploring you. You love Belmopan. You want change in your city and your constituency. You want improvement beyond the cosmetic treatment of existing infrastructure. Then give Belmopan a chance by going out and getting registered. I will be there, and my team will also be there to assist in this process. It is for us to take on this responsibility to safeguard our democracy, because at the end of the day, we will get the government we deserve. So if we are lapsed and we are not vigilant, we cannot blame anybody but ourselves for what the result would be. We need to come forward and get this done, and get it done timely.
Mr. Hipólito Contreras reminds you, Arthur, that there is something else you need to consider. Since other people selected the names of who can vote or who was removed from the list as it relates to a convention.
Right.
Maybe you will also need to look at those at that particular list to see if some of your people were not left out.
Of course.
So it's not something that you can rush into a convention. A convention is not something, and you will hear them say they offered to put you on Sunday with a 2 days notice.
With a list that I never approved.
Yes.
I mean, how would that have been fair to me or my supporters? You see, this was the kind of thing that was done to Sam Witt. And it will not happen again. Not on my watch. We had the situation after the passing of the Honorable Hinokowicz, where the Honorable Samuel Witt, a man who I have believed in and supported, the first politician that I have ever worked for and worked with, and who is still my great friend to this day, he was seeking to offer himself again to serve the people of Belmopan and Cayo South. And the list that was produced, even when he had oversight, was changed overnight. And many of his supporters were taken off that list. I in 2018 would be asked to submit myself to a situation where I'm going blindly with a list that I never approved? Really? And that's an offer? Really? No, I don't think so.
Miss Amira Smith is asking, will next week's online town meeting or town hall be held on Friday?
No. Next week online town hall will be held on Thursday.
All right.
Thursday is the town hall date. We won't change it. Because Friday, if I'm anywhere like I am now, I will. It's going to be rough. This is rough.
All right. And Candice Baptist Langsworth is asking, when will the Belmopan sub-fire station be opened? Belmopan needs both stations because of its rapid growth.
Oh, certainly. Need more than one. The thing about it is this. Each one of the communities of Belmopan should have a substation. I mean, we spend more money as a government on vehicles than anything else. Ministers change vehicles as often as they change clothes. In fact, we had a particular minister who took a vehicle and made it into a submarine recently. I mean, this is what's going on in Belize these days. But you cannot have fire engines. I know you heard me break into Creole just now. I could talk Creole, you know. I know, shy away from talking Creole, I could do it. But I don't make it a practice on this forum. But yes, we have been wasting resources and not addressing priorities. And it just seems that recently there have been so many homes and properties being destroyed by fire. And you are finding that the communities that are affected don't have adequate firefighting capacity. Why? Because the resources is being squandered. $750 million worth of Petro-Caribbean funds gone. Gone. I mean, come on. We could have gotten some fire engines and other substations in Belmopan out of that money. Instead, we got a few streets. A few streets.
All right.
Not enough.
We have one from Mr. Raymond Isigiri, Mr. Iko.
It says that the implementation of the dry canal is an objective that the international communities all want to see to come to fruition. The accomplishment of this infrastructure will provide an exponential toll of wealth to the region, potentially more so to Belize. It is apparent that the powers that to be seek sorry, I do apologize. It says that to be seek to circumvent Belizeans from participating in this venture. The disheartening part about it is that some of our political leaders are complicit in this conspiracy.
There are.
Perhaps it is because of the ignorance and the absence of being scrupulous enough to speak on our behalf. Mr. Barrow and Mr. Elrington, in particular, are attempting to pull the wool over our people's eyes. They're sensationalizing the matter, as well as they are seemingly trying to force our hands to go before the ICJ in a cowardly way. Why? To deceive the people into not knowing that their palms have already been buttered. Why else are they being sent on driving us blindly into something we all know will not resolve the matter, but only make it worse?
Mr. Izagiri, is it?
Yeah, Izagiri.
Raymond Ezegiri.
Mr. Raymond Izagiri, I commend you on that commentary. It is on point, accurate. Our lack of development has been artificially imposed. There was a time when Belize boasted the highest literacy rate in Central America, and we were a leading nation in literacy in the Caribbean as well. We could have maintained that standard, but gradually we started to lose it. It seems to me that our leaders don't want us to be able to read, to write, and more importantly, to think. They want you to take the words of those in authority like gospel, not to be questioned. Just swallow it and take it, no matter how stupid it sounds. When you articulate on the dry canal concept, well, we know what that is. And it goes back to that 1859 treaty, Mr. Ezagiri. That was what the Guatemalans were seeking to push with Article 7. And it's still there to be done, as you rightly say. And if it is done now, one of the main reasons why Belize has to benefit is because the Bay of Amatica is too shallow to support post-Panamax ships. Back in 1859, ships were made of wood, and the part of the ship they call the draft, which is the part that is submerged once the ship is fully laden with commercial cargo, it only went down 30 feet back then. So the Bay of Amatica would be sufficient to support such a ship in 1859. But now in 2018, look at the ship. The draft has gone now to over 120 feet underwater. The Bay of Amatica can't support that. So the only place we will be able to have those ships dock up are locations in Belize City. In Belize, not Belize City. No, not Belize City. Belize City doesn't even have a port. That thing is an oversized wharf. A proper port facility needs to be built at a place called Robinson Point. It's 9 miles south of Belize City, 3 miles off the coastline. It will be connected to the coast, Mr. Ezagiri. There, which is serviced by the main channel, which goes from north to south, behind the reef, behind the Belize Barrier Reef. So there's no dredging needed. That area of Robinson Point is where sharks go to spawn. It's 120 to 200 feet deep. Man, They need us. They need us to make that dry canal work. Do you know how many people can be employed by a world-class port facility? Do you know how much money would be coming through Belize? This is what we should be discussing and pushing and educating our people about, Mr. Izagiri. I welcome you. I hope you join me again at a time when I'm more sprightly. Because right now, I must confess, I'm a bit, the batteries are low.
Mr. Ahmad Marciano says you're to keep up the pressure and all the best.
Thank you, Ahmad.
You also have Miss Beulah Gillett, who is telling you to keep up your work.
Thank you, Miss Beulah.
All right. Well, we will. It's a little bit after 9, and so we're going to be wrapping up. We are asking you to just make your final comments as this long day comes to a close.
Yes, mercifully so for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess, tonight was not my best. I apologize. I want to have it be made clear again that I am a PUP. I'm a member of the party, been a member of the party for all my adult life. I don't seek to bring my party down, as some are trying to say. But I do believe that democracy requires vigilance. And vigilance only comes with questioning, testing, and ensuring that the principles that are claimed and the ideals that are propounded are actually afforded to all without fear or favor, affection or ill will. If it affects me, it will potentially affect you as well. Because today may be me, tomorrow could be you. So I am going to take the slings and arrows for now, for standing up, so that you don't have to tomorrow. So that if I am successful, then better has been done for the interest of the party. It is my responsibility as a guardian of the principles, a guardian of the torch left behind by George Price. He said, famously and quite frequently, that no man is bigger than the party and no group is bigger than the party, because the party is all of us, all of its members, the people. I believe in that. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because no man or group is bigger than all of us. This is our party, not that man's party or those men's party. Our party, the People's United Party. Thank you.
Good night. And just before we go, I want to make a special apology. I am looking for Miss Ariel Lightfoot's comment. She's asking, why did you skip mine? Love, I really and truly, I did not see it.
Well,
I am trying to find it.
What Ariel is asking, I want to hear it.
If you could resend quickly.
Please resend the question, Aria. I'm here.
We will wait just for your question. Please.
While we're waiting, we can go into a little Spanish, can we?
Yes.
Man,
Antes de,
when the batteries are low, the Spanish just go.
para cerrar nuestra reunión hoy, ¿qué puede decirnos en español? Solo terminando en
Sí.
español.
Discúlpeme, damas y caballeros, que mi gente que habla español, mis baterías son
Me bajas.
bajas ahora. Están bajas. ¿Sí? No hay las palabras que usualmente me tenía para explicar mis posiciones en español. Pero gracias para venir. Gracias para
estar con nosotros.
Para estar con nosotros. Y estoy diciendo que
one of the things we found, okay, she resubmitted. Thanks very much, Miss Aria. She's saying, just said that he needs to file the injunction on July 2nd as our nation faces another contempt against our laws.
yes, Aria, as it relates to the injunction against the registration of Guatemalans in Belize, we will not be able to do it the second because it would be premature. We have to do it within the month of July, but after the start of the registration exercise. You cannot put an injunction for an action not yet done. It would be premature. We have to wait until they start breaking it again, which I know they will. So as soon as the re-registration exercise starts, we can. Anytime after it starts, we can do it. Okay? But you cannot have injunctive relief for an infraction that has not been committed. If you understand what I'm saying, give me a feedback. I'm here right now. We are going to discuss this. I'll give you 30 more minutes. Let us discuss this.
All right. She gives you a little clap. And I think she understands. So I think she is satisfied. And thank you again. And I am sorry I did not see that previous comment. I hope that we satisfy you.
I want to say one thing before we go, Madam Chair.
No problem, love.
Aria is a Belmopanese. True and true. Alright? And not only is she a Belmopanese, she's been a part of an Arta Saldiva campaign before. And I hope for her to be a part of an Arta Saldiva campaign again. I'm trying to reach out to your area. I'm asking for your support here.
She thanks you, Arta, and she asks you to tune into Belize Radio Mix on Sunday. What time is that, Aria?
You want to know the truth, Aria? I ensured that there would be no convention on Sunday so that I could actually tune in to that discussion. So I'm looking forward to attending your town hall event on Sunday. I certainly will be there.
It's at 4 p.m. Belize time. 4 p.m. Belize time. Okay, everybody, you're listening? Let's tune in at 4 p.m. Belize time to Belize Radio Mix on Sunday.
Yes.
All
I'll
right?
be there.
And then Mr. Steve, the right man for the job, Mr. Arta Saldiva. Mr. Katul say you go. We have some other big ups for you from as we go along, but we will say thank you for tuning in tonight. We highly appreciate your commitment and your taking time out from your schedule to sit. Tune in next week, Thursday at 8 for another in the series.
8 to 9. Thank you so very much. Good night.
Good night.